Thank you very much, Marion, and thank you also to the speakers for the very insightful presentation. So I'm just going through on the chat. I think there has been one question at the very beginning that has not been answered. So from Josh West, so that was addressed, I think, to Johan at the first after the first presentation. So what options could be tested to ensure that model is profitable in the future? Scalability and high demand. So that there's a question mark.
Where was the question? It's about the scalability, right?
Yeah, scalability and high demand were mentioned as an option in the
It's
in
a
the, in the,
good
mes- in the
good
message.
question, to be honest, uh, and I'm not sure of the answer up to this day. For sure, to ensure the profitability in the future, what will need to be worked on is automation for sure, because we won't be able to put an agent all the time, basically doing nothing but standing up with parcels. So just for safety. Also, what needs to be worked on for sure will be working around the frequency of the tram. If we are able to automate things, we are able to grab the best out of the frequency of a network that allows a tram every 3 minutes, basically. So the scalability will be done not by loading more the tram, but by loading more trams, mostly. That for sure. And we also need to be careful about the general acceptance of such solutions, because the more parcels you put in a tram, the less people you put in a tram. So at one point, it will become an issue. So what is the right balance? I don't know yet. And uh, yeah, we still need to study how does such a model behave when it comes to variability of the demand. We are not sure yet, and there is yeah, we have a couple challenges still to be answered, but one of the main is the resiliency of a network. For instance, if there is a disruption for, I don't know, 2 weeks of work on the tram network, what do we do? So this is the type of question we need to answer. But for sure, right now the answer is grabbing the best out of the space we have and out of the number of trams we have.
Thank you, Johan, for clarification. And I think this also connects to some of the fact that we've been seeing all a common point in all the presentations. So the fact that all these systems has been designed primarily for passengers, so there isn't also, as we saw in all presentations, so the changes are needed to also adapt to the freight somehow. So my question here, and maybe I would start with more from the cities of Madrid and Karlsruhe. So are there any specific urban designs or infrastructure changes that are needed to support this kind of solutions that you have been explaining in your presentation earlier? I would start with Rafa or Thomas.
For Metro Madrid side, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
And our objective is not to modify the infrastructure, the station, and the service passengers. So for us, it's a red line that we had to take care, because in other words, we had to adapt what is our service now, that the cargo service from this point of view. So we can change little things. No, we can add maybe lockers at the station, and it's a new service for the passengers. But for Metro Madrid, the frequencies, the station, the priority of passengers in the elevators are are clear, and we don't want to modify any point of that.
Thank
For
you.
Karls- Yep.
Thomas.
For Karlsruhe, I can say we strongly require that we run within the available infrastructure. However, this infrastructure, of course, changes over time. And one requirement we have naturally with the robot entering the tram is that we have to have a barrier-free tram stop. At the moment, not all of the tram stops in Karlsruhe are barrier-free, but there are plans to increase the number of barrier-free tram stops in the future. So if we look at a time window until maybe 2030, maybe 2035, we will have almost all major tram stops barrier-free, so the robot can enter and exit.
Thank you both for this clarification. So I understood that so this does imply major change as for now for your infrastructure in your reality, but more rather punctual interventions. That is also, I think, an important aspect to underline. Another question that I have to address to you. So also, I'm sure that also in your trials activities, so that you have been explaining, also there has been unexpected challenges during the implementation. So I'm curious to hear more how you adapted to this kind of disruptions or unexpected challenges, and also what can future initiatives learn from these trial and error mistakes, or how can adapt in the future. So maybe here I would start from Johan, from the experience in Strasbourg, and after from also here from Olivier from OVO.
It's a good question. It comes around the resilience of the network, basically, and can we ensure that the service we're going to provide, will be still whatever could happen. And up to this day, I think a model that would be 100% tram would not work, because it would not be resilient enough. I believe there is a much more potential in the mixed model, using, for instance, trams and light vehicles and bikes somewhere else, and so on and so forth. So when there is one disruption somewhere, you can rely on the other means of distribution. And I think there is a huge work to do still, but we're going in the right direction, about multimodality and an optimal fleet composition of multimodality. Because, yeah, it's the same problem. If you have only electrical car one day, if there is no more energy, you don't have any more cars, for instance. So the resilience comes with the multiplication of different type of innovations. But so far, what we believe when it comes to scalability in terms of volume, from our computation, we can cover 100% of parcels, and even way more than this, with using the frequency cleverly, in a clever way. So I would say the resilience to the variability of the demand will be covered and is mathematically possible. The resilience to I would say catastrophic events and disruptions of the network need to be challenged still.
Thank you, Johan. Olivier?
Yes, thank you for the question. We are really in this project designing a service, so we're trying to anticipate the demand of the industry, and we're really focusing not only on parcel but also in the cargo logistics. It is clear that the challenge is to have a service that is answering the real needs of today, but that is also anticipating new needs. We have discussed, I don't know if you remember at the end of the presentation, the planet orders and the dynamic orders. So in that case, we're really answering to two different needs. You have to imagine that a dynamic order for a logistic operator, it's more about just doing I think we say a charter. So you just order a vehicle when you don't have enough vehicle for a certain day. So you don't plan it. Maybe you have some peak usage at some period of the year for parcel will be before Christmas. And in that case, maybe you have one or two vehicles that are out, your trucks, and you have to find another vehicle. So in that case, we're answering with dynamic demand. But what we're really trying to focus is in this planning demand. And in this planning demand, so that means that all over the year, the transporter knows which vehicle he has for him. And that is for us really an important point. And this is why we think we have to add a certain layer. We have to add an actor that is kind of the ruler of this contract, and that is able to ensure the access of enough vehicle over the whole period of the contract. And having a reliable service is very important for transporters. So this is the only way we can really match the demand. This is our point of view, and then we have to test this during the project.
Thank you very much, Olivier, also for these clarifications. And there was also another point that I wanted to touch upon with you, so about the importance of data. So we have been often in the discussion between POLIS and ALICE, but also in our conversation between the public sector and private sector of the importance of data and data sharing. So it's often complicated to have obtained this kind of data. And in particular here, I put myself on the side of the public sector, also for local administrations, to also have valuable data to better also manage freight, to understand more how freight flows work in cities, and also how to the data can better help to improve planning. So my question here would be, in this kind of activities or pilots that you explain on the integration of passenger and freight transport, so what is the role of data sharing and digital platform in this? They can facilitate coordination between the sectors. So here in particular, I heard from the final presentation, so also the role of the orchestra, the operation. So I'm curious to hear from the speakers how they see the importance of data sharing in this kind of operation. I would maybe start with the beginning of the presentation from Johan, based on the experience in Strasbourg.
Yeah, basically, this is one of the key learning we had. Data sharing is really needed if you want to have a successful experiment, when it implies several actors, such as a delivery company, for instance, and a public partner, and an operating company. Basically, there are several layers that could be that are really interesting, but sometimes there are many there are many challenges. The thing is, to have data sharing, you need to have data availability only within your own company first. So this is a work you have to do on yourself, and to share it with other people, you need to be able to share a format, whether it is on a platform or anything else, but you need to be able to find a common ground to automatize the way you exchange information, especially if you want to do real time. For instance, the delivery with the tram, we are talking about a minute precision when you need the tram to arrive, and so on and so forth. So the general public needs to be aware of the delay, and needs to be aware of the small disruptions such a process is causing. So this is high frequency data exchange, and it's a really tough challenge to do. So a platform that automatizes this, I don't know what really is behind the word platform, but is definitely useful in this sense. And by platform, I would more or less understand shared protocol for high-speed data exchange between several parties.
Thank you, Johan. Maybe I would also ask this to Madrid. What's the experience also in this kind about data sharing?
Okay, I was muted. In our opinion, in a pilot, you can manage the data in a better way than in a real project. But I think it's essential the coordination in the data sharing between stakeholders, for instance, synchronization between metro and logistic operators, micro hub and local managers. the traceability of the parcel is essential in the supply chain. So you need to share data in every step in the chain. And for dynamic planning, I think also is necessary for do the job in a better way. So for us, we think it's essential, but it's true that in a pilot you can manage all the things better because it's much better, much easier than in a real project that for us is essential, and you have to build an adequate and a proper infrastructure to share this kind of data.
Thank you, Rafael. Thomas, Olivier, do you have something to add on this?
Yeah, well, this aspect of data sharing has at least two different sides. One is the data that you need for the pilot, for the demo. So, for example, the amount of parcels that will be transported in our case, the timing of that, and in order to evaluate what you have been doing. And this is we found out this is not so easy to get data from logistic service providers on that, because they consider it their own knowledge naturally, which I can fully understand. The other dimension of data and data sharing is linked to the service, like we heard before, the online data, the real-time data of the trams or metros or trains or whatever. This is to some extent sometimes difficult to get. I know in Karlsruhe it is pretty easy because we have the tram provider as a partner, but I'm not sure if every operator of public transport is willing to provide real-time data about the delays and the actual time schedule to an outside partner. This might be tricky in some cases.
Thank you, Thomas. Yeah, Olivier, if you have more to add, yeah.
I wanted to just complete maybe an answer based on our use cases, and also maybe answer to there's a question of on the chat, and I think it's linked to my answer. For us, we are really trying to put in place a service, so not just a pilot. So data is crucial, but the SLA, so the service level agreement, is really a crucial thing to understand who's responsible of which information and who is responsible for which task. When there's a delay, who is responsible for the delay? And at the end of the day is who pays for what. And who offers the service. For me, it's really at the level of the SLA, and then that the data can flow and respect these SLA. So for AVs, it's AVs themselves sharing the estimated time of arrival based on an optimization that comes from the fleet orchestrator. But then there is also the question of if there is a delay because of traffic, it's not the problem of the fleet orchestrator, of the AV itself. It's a problem of who has planned the last delay of delivery. And this is why we're adding a layer in this logic, which we call logistic orchestrator, because he has to be responsible when offering a service that the service is answering to the need of the logistic operator. So in that case, the client. And there was a question about these projects have been showcased for years. What is the biggest obstacle for coming into service and profitable? So we are deploying service for different transporters in Geneva next year. And to make it profitable, it's we have to have our interests that are aligned. So that is clear. So we have to, in the case of these AV bus, there is an interest from the fleet owners because they have to amortize their investment. There is an interest of the logistic operators because they want to improve their logistic and have something more efficient. So there's an interest on the two sides of the desk, and this makes it possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivier, for clarification, and also thanks to Casper for this question that has been answered. So just to add that indeed the role of orchestrator we have also seen in other kind of activities in other cities. So that is also a way for as to act as an intermediate between the public and private sector when there are about logistic operator. It can also indeed can represent as a figure to who is responsible for this kind of operation to the clients or those who participate. And with this, having said that, I would like to thank also the speaker also for to clarifying these aspects in question. And now I would pass to Yang Ying for closing remarks.